write an email, write a correspondence that happens to be email in my case, read it over, cut the fat, and then still retain some personal flavor, whatever that is. This is a note coming from me. The actual words and the sort of rhetoric that I was using as a reflection of who I am personally was important to me, because this is the equivalent of me meeting somebody or even talking to them on the phone, but only through writing. And the other advantage of that is, of course, is that you have the ability to kind of shape that without having to do it on the fly if you're on the phone or in person, which I think is an advantage. Because again, this isn't the Great American Novel, or is it? It's not it's nor is it like a tweet or something. You're not writing late night jokes, so you can't have too much personality. It still is business, right? But you can have enough where it just, you kind of hope that you shine a little bit. More importantly than whether or not it was like my voice, it was not the same as everybody else's, if that makes sense. I guess again, in a little bit of an egotistical way, I like people to like me, just in general. It doesn't mean sucking up or being like a supplicant or something like that, but it's like I just like a positive, sort of communication, even if it gets a little contentious, but you can grow from that. But nevertheless, I like people to like me, and I like people to like me even if they're reading what I'm writing. A lot of this kind of correspondence can be very dry and very similar. Trying to interject some originality in what I'm writing is important. I'm a little bit of an old school person where I don't want to like put too many emojis or like smiley faces or unnecessary punctuation or that sort of thing. But sometimes it's a way to communicate things that you can't do, those sort of inflections in person.
For me, my struggle is between getting work done and being professional, but also maintaining a certain levity. And I think, the balance actually works pretty well, but I don't know if it's certain situations, some people prefer things that are more formal, so I have to kind of be aware of that. Plus, I'm a bit of an informal person to start with. There's a title at the end of my email, and it says director. That's, also there for a reason.
When I'm sending messages to customers or in the company, compared to other people, I think I probably tend to be more informal. So I try to write in a way that's not too pushy. I try to have it fit my personality. I'm not a pushy person. I want people to understand things and see why it's good.
I think a personal identity is important. Like every time you meet someone, whether it's the first time you meet in person, whether you're emailing them, you are conveying a little bit about who you are. If people can trust you, if you're reliable, if there's someone that they can come to count on later. We talk a lot about developing your own brand identity and in using that in all of your correspondence and communication. So I have a personal brand. My brand identity is I want to be a great client service person. I want to be someone that people can count on. I want to be someone who always goes a little bit above and beyond, someone that you can trust. So someone who tells you the truth, whether that's good or bad. And I think you take that into everything you do. So if I'm emailing with someone, I'm not overselling them. If I'm having a conversation, I'm not going to overpromise them. I'm going to be real, direct, and get to know people. It's kind of what I was talking about earlier. But if it calls for it, if that person is open to it, develop a personal relationship too. And I try to do that through my own, brand or identity, where I get to know people on an individual level. But I think it can say a lot about who people are, just from an email. Are they very formal? Are they a little bit casual? Do I think they're going to be fun? Do I think I'm going to like working with them? Do they ramble? Are they to the point? I think all of that can be shown pretty quickly in your communication. My team kind of gives me some trouble for this, makes fun of me a little bit, but I'm a very positive person. So you can see that through my writing, right? It's always like, hey, how are you? Exclamation point, question mark, have a great day. I'm excited, and I think happy, positive, and passionate usually show through even in my writing. Certainly when I'm in person, if I'm giving a presentation, I'm usually pretty jazzed about what I'm going to talk about. So I think that's easy to show through. But I think it absolutely shows in my writing too.
Not that I overthink my own voice in the way that I deliver it. I try to deliver it as naturally me as possible, but I come off professionally optimistic as much as I can. while I write professionally, I will still like add exclamation points for emphasis. And additionally to that, I'm usually very structured in my email writing. So regardless of the voice that I've adopted, I'm quick to break a paragraph out into bullet points when it makes sense to, or have like line breaks just for emphasis and that sort of thing. I think I sort of take the perspective of a little bit of sugar helps the pill go down always. Too flat-toned or even pessimistic of a voice reduces people's confidence. It makes them less at ease. And I find that the way that I write in emails definitely has an effect on my workplace relationships. Additionally, when you're doing something like having to deliver bad news, for instance, in a correspondence, remaining professionally optimistic is not always easy to do. So it takes a little bit of work to figure out how to be both maybe serious or get the necessary information across and make sure you have the correct emphasis of how serious the situation is while still maintaining you in the email. Yeah.
So I do think that I have I know I have a personal style, and I think people would recognize, certainly my former career in banking where I did a lot more of this, if somebody wrote something and put my name on it, people would probably be able to tell that this doesn't look like what I would normally write. I mean, there are a lot of times where you never even meet people. I have a client in Arizona. I have never met them. And we spent many hours working on this. I've spent many hours on the phone with them. I've never met them. And so all they know of me is how I talk on the phone and how I send them emails and reply to their requests. And I mean, that's all they know of me. That communication really does define me as far as they're concerned. And since most of our work is referral based, that's everything.